What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to episode number 22 of the Fanboys Anonymous group meeting podcast, of course, presented to you by fanboysanonymous.com. I'm your host, Tony Mango, and joining me on the panel for this episode, I've got with me Chris the Dace Man, Dace.
Hey.
Calen, Ferris.
What's happening?
And Stephen Wago.
Yeah, I'm here.
This meeting's officially been called to order. What we're going to talk about for this episode is going to be a three-parter, a couple different topics that are meshed in between those three different parts, but basically it revolves around, do you go to the movies or not? And it's not necessarily just on, do you watch movies? Because we all, in some capacity watch movies, but do you go to the movies? Movie theaters have been getting a lot of different press lately for a couple different reasons, and going to break some of them down here. First part, we're going to be talking about prices. Second part, we're going to be talking about different movie screen formats. Third part, we're going to talk about, unfortunately, some of the bad things going on with mass shootings that are happening in movie theaters. Crazy fucking people out there. And not just the shooters, but the people that want to charge the money for this kind of stuff. So let's get right into this. Movie theater ticket prices and snack prices and stuff. In general, let's just, keep this pretty simple at first. Do you guys think that it costs too much money to go to the movies now?
Yes.
Yes.
The actual ticket prices depends on where you go, but regardless of when you're eating there, it's really expensive.
There used to be a time where I would remember that I could go to the movies and spend, I don't know, maybe $11 and get popcorn and a movie ticket. And AMC is the closest movie theater to Dace and I. And we used to have, two AMCs, actually. So I was a part of the Movie Watcher program that they had, their rewards program and stuff. And that used to give you some pretty damn good things. You'd get a free small popcorn every once in a while. By the 5th or the 6th or something like that movie ticket that you scanned, you might get a free movie ticket. So it was pretty doable. Now, holy fuck, man, I buy tickets for multiple people before we go ahead of time because we have assigned seating. If 4 people go, I'm plunking out $150 almost.
Yeah, plus the rewards program these days suck. You get $10 after 10 movies, and then it expires in 30 days. So good luck.
Yeah, it's the Amc Stubbs Program, and I, for the longest time, didn't have that, and I was just like, you know what, why should I pay to be on a rewards program? That's ridiculous.
I'm not familiar with this program. What are the details on that one?
You pay, I think it's $12 per year, and the amount of money that you spend on movie tickets or on concessions goes towards $100 limit thing. And
okay, so the way it works is for every $10 that you spend, for every $100 that you spend, you get a $10 reward.
Yeah.
And
minus
as far
the
as your
$12.
beverages and your soda go, you get a free size upgrade. So you get a large, but you pay for a medium price.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a cap on the rewards because you can only get an X amount of points, and then it just stops accruing. It's weird.
Really?
That's why I just stopped doing it.
And you have to pay to enroll in this?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that there was actually a cap on it.
So how much do you actually have to spend until it actually pays off?
You have to spend $112 to get $10 back. Unless the $12 counts towards the 100, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because the membership's 12, right?
Yeah. Or at least it was when I paid for it last year. But I mean, I did it this year because a friend of ours works at the movie theaters, and I was just talking to him when I was buying the movie tickets, and he was just like, you want to sign up for Stubbs? And I'm like, no, fucking Movie Watcher was so much better. It was free and shit. And he's like, yeah, but you're buying 12 tickets, so you're already past that $100 mark. I'm like, all right, well, if I do that and I already get the $10 back, it's fine. And that's the only reason why I have it now is because I'm the guy that buys all those tickets ahead of time. And for the, a couple friends of mine that don't have it, I'll be like, yo, just use the Stubbs thing. You'll get a large popcorn instead of a medium.
That's what you do with me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be right back. It's oh, okay. I'm going to just blah, blah, blah. So, extra large. Get that.
Yeah, because it's I don't lose anything, you don't lose anything, both of us gain, why not? But that actually, it pissed me off for the longest time, because it was Movie Watcher, you didn't have to pay anything, and you got stuff back. And, most of it was 50 cents off any combo. Okay. could use that. But it was cool when, like, you just happen to go a couple times of the year, then you get a free movie ticket. And that didn't really expire all that much. That was like a couple of months that you would have before that would expire. And these, I think it's, 90 days?
Barely. I really feel like it's a month. Because we hit the movie theater within 90 days, and I feel like every time we go, you still have $10.
Yeah, that's true. I do have $10 on my thing right now.
Yeah, we've seen what, 4 or 5 movies so far this summer, and you've bought all the tickets in advance. So in theory, you should have about $40 to $50 on that rewards program, but you only have 10. So the program just sucks. It's trying to mirror the hotel logic program, but caps you. Like, you can't just keep accruing points.
I'm looking at movie ticket prices right now. Box Office Mojo and the National Association of Theater Owners, they figured out the average ticket price for different things. This is bullshit, I think. Average ticket price right now is $8.12. Now, that factors in everything from the different times of the day and the different versions of the films and stuff like that, so that's why it's a little bit lower. But, man, I remember when we went to see Jurassic World, that was like $15.50 or something.
Yeah, we're considering IMAX for Star Wars Episode 7. Imagine how much that's going to cost.
Oh, IMAX is going to be like $20 or something.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go. I mean, it's fucking Star Wars. But we got to get those tickets ahead of time, like way in advance, too.
Probably this week.
Or whenever you're listening to this podcast.
If you buy them ahead of time, let me know. I'll give you the money. Anyway,
sure.
Figuring out these planes on the air.
It's Star Wars, people. We're allowed to.
It's important. We need this time. But yeah, like, it was like $15.50 or $15.25 or something like that. And yeah, we went to see the XD version, and we'll talk about the different versions in the next part and stuff like that. But it was just like, I don't have that much money to be able to plunk down to see all these movies that I want to see. $15 a pop on each one of them. And I'm not the type of person that wants to go in the middle of the day either. Like, I don't like seeing movies during the day. Even if it's a different type of movie where it's like a comedy and you can do that, it bugs me. Like, if I leave the movie theater and it's daylight out, it will throw me off the whole rest of the day.
That is weird. Yeah, the movie ticket prices, as far as I'm concerned, it does keep me from going more often than I might otherwise. Because around here, I think an evening show, just regular during the week, I think is about $10 or so. And then if you go to a matinee, it's like, I don't know, $5 or $6 or something. The next day they have theaters. I don't know if they do this all over the country, but here we're at in Ohio, Tuesday, $6 movies all day. Anytime of the day, Tuesday, $6. Unfortunately, I work all day Tuesday, or that's when I would go. But like, I remember going when I was in school, and the big high movies were, I don't know, $4 or $5. Then they started into $6. And so one thing that I was really liking when they introduced the dollar movie theaters, they were cinema up, and they would have all of the.
Seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, am I sounding really terrible?
Yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit. I think it might be on my end, but I don't know for sure. But we're kind of catching every other word that you're saying almost.
Sorry, yeah, because Dace was breaking up for me. I guess we're on break right now. Dace was breaking up for me, but Tony, you sound clear to me, so I'm not.
Nah, we're still going. I'm not editing this.
Okay, great.
I'm pretty sure it's on my end, and you can blame Comcast for that, everybody. Sorry about that. I can't fix it because they're dumb. But hopefully it'll keep us going like we're doing. Right now we seem to be fine, but I apologize in advance. But what were you saying, Calen? Like, Tuesdays are cheaper, but you can't go because that's when you're working, so...
Right, yeah, Tuesday's a cheap day. But I miss the days when we used to have a lot of theaters in my city. And these days, there's only like 3 major ones. We used to have a dozen different theaters. And what I liked is when they had what was called super cinemas. And it was still first-run stuff, but it was after it had been out a month or so. They would move from the main theater, like at the mall, and they would move to this other theater, like in this one shopping complex. And they'd have 20 different theaters, and it was $1. And, there was movies that were like 4 to 6 weeks old, but still, they hadn't come out on DVD yet or anything like that. So it was still newer movies. So that I would often wait, a month and then go see something for $1 rather than paying the full price. And now that it's, 10, $15, that's one of the reasons why I only see movies like once a year, really. This year, all I've seen was The Avengers, and I'm going to see Star Wars. And other than that, I don't really see anything that I'm thinking is going to be worth my time to put down my hard-earned money and actually drive out there and deal with the fucking crowds. But, it's not a matter of not being able to afford it because, as an adult now, I have more disposable income than when I was a child. But it's relatively, it never seems, very rarely do I go and put down my money and go see a movie and say, hey, that was worth my time and money. Very rarely does that happen.
Just for a little bit of comparison here, $8.12 is that average ticket price of what they say. Going back to 2010, that was $7.89. 2005, $6.41. 2000's $5.39. 1995 is $4.35. So it basically increases every 5 years like $1. And that doesn't seem like it might be too much, but you got to think every 5 years it's another dollar, another dollar, another dollar. And that $8.12 or $8.17 actually is what it was last year. It went down a little bit. That $8 is not the ticket price of what like you go on the opening night and stuff like that. And if you're part of the people that like to go in the middle of the day, or like if you could take advantage of like a different show that, you wait a little bit and it's a little bit cheaper and that kind of stuff, then you save a little bit of money. But then you're also having to deal with like if anybody spoiled it for you ahead of time, and somebody like myself, like I got to put these movie reviews up as soon as possible. I got to go like the first show or the first day, and I'm rushing to get it up immediately afterward. So I can't take advantage of that kind of stuff that often. And actually, I'm looking at the price of tickets now. 1910. Of course, that's a huge difference of time, but it was 7 cents.
Yeah, I waited on the Nickelodeon, so it was only 5 cents.
Well, even down to like the 70s, it was only like $2-3. Actually, it didn't even reach the $3 mark until 1983. So it took them 70 years to go up to $3, and it's going up $1 every 5 years now. That's kind of crazy. And when it comes to popcorn and fucking concession stand stuff, the average price of popcorn right now is $8.15 for a large, and it costs them 90 cents to make.
Fuck them.
That's an 806% markup.
That's one of the reasons I don't feel guilty at all about sneaking shit in.
Hell no. Large soda, $6.31, cost is 51 cents, including the cup, the lid, and the straw. That's a 593% markup. The candy is $4.25, the cost is $2, 104% markup. Like, we're losing so much money, we don't have an extra 700% markup.
So this is my advice to everybody. If you have a large winter coat or a friend who's carrying a purse, go to the convenience store or grocery store before you hit the movie theater, load up with all the candy for real cheap and pop and 20 ounces and sneak that in and fuck paying that bullshit high price.
That's what I do typically. Personally, I don't find the movie ticket prices too high when they're under the $10 mark. If it gets anywhere past that, then I'm a bit unhappy about it. But it's always the concessions what fuck me over, so that's what you need to be careful of the most if you're going out. And you can literally end up with, I think, what is it? Me and Jonah got 2 sodas and a popcorn not too long ago, and it could have swore like I had to part with $30.
Yeah, for just the popcorn, right?
No, it was...
And they give you the kind of like incentives where they say, well, it's free refills for this and whatever like that, but it's like I don't want to leave in the middle of a fucking movie. And at the end of the movie, afterward, then what am I gonna do? Like grab the popcorn, fill it back up, and sit in the car and eat it? It's kind of awkward.
I've taken a full popcorn out before. Fuck yeah, I paid for it.
Oh, I've done it before, but it never ends up getting eaten. Like the
throw
whole
it away
thing.
in front of them, and just go because I can. Bob Kelso style.
I think the last time I took popcorn out of the movies and it got put to good use was the Ritz movie theater, which is like a better movie theater than the AMC that we have. But the popcorn's even better too and all that. And I was just like, I'm going to take this home because this popcorn's fucking great. But on the way back, there's this one area, Dace would know what I'm talking about, but of course the listeners wouldn't. But this one area where there's this nice hill and there's a lot of ducks that are there quite often. And there was this big duck crossing that happened, and I had to, like, stop the car and whatever, and I just started tossing popcorn out to them, and I was just like, oh, these ducks are, like, loving the fucking popcorn. It's a better use of my fucking money than, like, me to just sit home and eat this and wallow in self-pity afterward. But, like, you can't really, like, maximize your amount of money that you go for the movies. Like, you plunk down the money, you've got 2 hours of entertainment, and it's done. Especially somebody like me, I eat the popcorn before the fucking trailers are over for the most part.
Yeah, and then your mouth hurts because it's all salty and stingy and numb.
Yeah, then you are like, I wish I would have gotten something to drink, but that's another mortgage on my house. But I'm looking at my list of movies right now. I had written down 22 movies that I wanted to see this year in theaters. I've seen 6 of them. And there's a couple that are coming out that I know for sure I'm going to see. But really, if I'm looking at the list, there's only 2 that I know that I'm going to see at for the rest of the year, and that's Spectre and Star Wars. Spectre, of course, because I'm a huge Bond fan. Star Wars, of course, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. But even, like, Fantastic Four, I'm going to watch that shit.
I refuse to pay for that.
No, I'm not going to go see Fantastic Four.
Like, the bad reviews I've been hearing and everything is, like, $15 to watch this? Like, I can't even seem to justify the $6 middle of the day price to watch this crap. Do you guys tend to download things afterward? Or do you, like, not watch the movies in general? Or, like, what's your philosophy when it comes to this? Is it would you rather spend $5 to sit at home and download it, like Redbox it or something like that? I think that's like what Redbox is, the price, right? Like $5?
It depends on what service you're using. I've never used Redbox, but a lot of places will actually get movies to stream pretty close to the release date now. So I tend to do that if it's a movie that I'm not dying to see. Whereas before, when movies were a little cheaper, I might have actually gone out and made the trip.
What's usually the factor that makes you guys go, you know what, I have to just see this movie, I'll pay the extra amount?
If Star Wars is in the title.
Or Marvel.
You see, I am not a big movie guy at all, so it takes a lot to convince me to go out. So unless I've got a lot of people in my ear telling me a film's fantastic or it's just got outstanding reviews, or it's a part of a series I like, I don't take the effort to go and see anything. And because of that, I'm probably restricting myself from seeing a lot of good movies, but it's just not worth the price of admission.
Well, you could always watch them, later on. That's the thing. That's the good thing about movies. It's not like Disney World where you can't be like, well, it's expensive to go to Disney World, but we can catch Disney World later.
See, and one of the... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say... I'll go. One of the things... also that I don't like about the theater, besides, the price difference, it's nice seeing it first run before it comes out on DVD and stuff, but I don't like dealing with the crowds. If I could rent out the whole theater for a reasonable price, I would do that, just so I don't have to deal with the other idiots in the theater.
Really? I love that.
No.
It was awkward going to see that Dragon Ball Z movie with a bunch of those fans in the theater. They're a different breed.
I like when I see. I love the movie theater crowd. I prefer that more than anything, because I love when, like in Jurassic World, when the T-Rex shows up and everybody starts clapping and stuff. And comedies seem more funny when people are laughing, unless you've got like some weird person with a weird laugh. Like when I went to go see the Simpsons movie, which I did not like. I wasn't laughing like at all throughout the entire movie, except for when this one woman was laughing, because she was just kind of like kind of a laugh, and I was just like, is there a fucking Muppet in here? Like, what the hell? But that made it more entertaining to me, because the movie itself sucked, but I could listen to this woman have this terribly stupid laugh and laugh at that. Where, like, when I went to see Grindhouse, there's all these Tarantino fans, and we're all sitting there in the line talking about, like, well, which is better, dogs or pulp? And, like, the Marvel people that they gasp when they see Thanos and stuff. But the Dragon Ball Z one, I don't follow Dragon Ball Z, but I got to imagine it's probably like when I went to see the I forget what movie it was, but there was a trailer ahead of time. I know it actually wasn't a movie itself. It wasn't a trailer for it. It was the Transformers movie. Mm-hmm. I used to like Transformers as a kid, but I never was like too big on them.
Oh, I was.
Like, it was kind of like it was like another set of toys to play with, but fuck it, I'm gonna watch Batman and Power Rangers and that kind of stuff.
It was interesting because like I've watched Battle of the Gods, which was the one before this, and watching it alone in the room, I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I watched this new one, the Resurrection F, because the fans were so into it. They're laughing, they're joining in on the experience, and I thought it was a better experience because I was able to laugh out loud. Because when you do it in your room by yourself watching these movies and you laugh out loud, people wonder about you.
Yeah,
but if you're by yourself,
I actually heard the movie was a letdown from certain people, but I'm glad it's not from your point of view.
I enjoyed it. I'm not a hardcore anime fan, so I'm sure there's things that they would pick apart. There was one thing that I thought was like, that kind of sucked, but I enjoyed it.
So you're saying you're not addicted to anime?
I'm not.
Damn it! I was gonna make that joke.
But isn't it cool to watch it when you've got all those like hardcore fans? Because somebody like myself, I am nerdy as fuck when it comes to certain things. Like the beginning of Terminator Genesis, when they started playing the Terminator theme and it was like the sad theme, I literally was like, ah! And when I went to see Skyfall, my girlfriend at the time turned around to me at one point in the movie and she was like, "You've got this giddy fucking look on your face." Because it was just like, they mentioned the fucking pen from GoldenEye, like, And seeing Transformers, I remember there were these two kids in front of me that were a couple years younger than I was, and they were nerding out so much because there was a shot where Optimus Prime takes out a sword, and they were just like, "Oh my god, the fucking sword," and stuff, and I was just kind of like, fucking nerds, and then I'm like, oh shit, I do the same thing for everybody else. Like, if Star Wars pops up, and I'm going to be sitting there wide-eyed with goosebumps the entire movie, and that's kind of like part of the factor that I work into my ticket price, sort of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like Captain America Winter Soldier, where they just said, "Oh, and Stephen Strange," and we all went, "Oh my god, it's Stephen Strange!" Like, you just said it.
I don't even like Doctor Strange, and I was still just like, he said it. Like,
I gotta disagree. I have a different opinion, though. No, I can understand where you're coming from and why you get enjoyment out of that. But myself, I don't consider movies really a social experience. Like, I'd be, I have gone to the movie theater by myself a couple of times. Because like I don't want, I know, right? I have no friends. But it's one of those things. Like I saw the first Avengers when that came out in theaters. I saw that a midnight sneak the opening night, very first showing, and it was packed. Every single seat in the place was taken. And there's times when it was cool because people were getting so excited about some things, but then again, people were laughing and shouting and cheering and applauding, and I missed some funny lines, like the puny god or something like that. I had to go see it a second or third time till I heard what he said because people just wouldn't shut the hell up. So in a way, I think that's kind of annoying, but I can see how people can get enjoyment out of that too. Personally, I'd rather just watch it all by myself.
See, Dace and I and a couple other people, we actually spent the money to go see the Avengers Marathon. It's like we've seen and own all these movies except for Avengers, but we're going to spend 12-something hours watching it in the movie theater. And that was so cool because it was like, it was, I think, like $40 for that ticket or something, if I remember correctly.
Cool lanyard. Duh.
Yeah, we got this, like, the little lanyard thing, and then we got, like, we could all hang out there and eat Subway in the middle of the fucking movie theater because they didn't care because they got $40 for each person and stuff, and everybody kind of had this, like, group mentality of, like, oh, Incredible Hulk's on? All right, well, then we can go. Like, that kind of a thing. I worked that into there, and I don't know, I kind of think, like, if they had something like a movie club sort of a thing where, like, big movie buff fans can go to AMC or Cinemark or the ones around us, and maybe, like, a discounted price or, like, a per-month kind of price or something like that, I think I would do that. Like, go see some of these other movies. Like, I'm not going to watch Pixels and spend $15 for that, or Selfless, or Trainwreck, or Straight Outta Compton, or American Ultra's coming out. That looks kind of cool. Even The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Like, these are movies that I kind of want to see, and I'll watch at some point. I'm not spending $15 for each one of these. But, if August they had something that was like, you spend, I don't know, $20 and you can see 5 movies. Shit, Fantastic Four, Man from U.N.C.L.E., Straight Outta Compton, American Ultra, and something else. I'll go watch those, in some kind of like a big movie club sort of thing like that. Like, would you guys be more willing to see movies if there was like a bulk price thing like that?
Weren't they testing that out in Colorado? Like AMC theaters were going to like $35 a month, and you can come see as many movies as you want, like once.
Huh.
It was I remember doing a story on the Dace Man show Wednesday nights live on Mega Powers Radio. We were doing a story about it, and they were testing it, I believe, in Colorado or somewhere out in the Midwest. They were doing a membership, $35. You get to go see any movie you want for within a month period. So when we were talking about it, it was also around the time like we had just saw The Hobbit, Horrible Bosses 2. It was like last winter when I had saw 5 movies in the course of 4 weeks. The $35 would have been a hell of a bargain. So yeah, that's definitely something I would invest in.
Yeah, because if you saw those movies at like the top price that you would be, just say that they're $15 a piece or something like that. You saw what, 5 movies?
Yeah, sorry.
That's $75.
Mm-hmm.
So that 35, like, it might seem like, wow, I'm spending $35 to go see movies. Yeah, but you're saving 40,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be much more willing to see more movies than that, And I'll fully admit here, I download a lot of things. BitTorrent is fucking awesome. And movie piracy, they keep talking about, like, well, how do we get people to stop doing that and whatever? Fucking ticket prices.
It's true, because take a look at music. They still have streaming issues and illegal download issues. But ever since they made it affordable via subscriptions or just made it a lot easier to access, piracy's gone down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of the music comparison, back when Napster, around 2000 when Napster was really going, I was using it, as millions of other people were. And now these days, I know a lot of people do the 99 cent per track, but I'm not even going to do that. I have a Spotify account. I pay for the premium. It's $10 a month, and I think it's the best deal in the world. I love Spotify. If they had something like that for movies where you could have a subscription, like you guys were saying, like the $35 per month or whatever, I would consider seeing more movies. But as it is, I thought it was weird that you said you could only see movies once. Once you saw it, you couldn't see that movie again on your subscription. Do you guys what's the last time you saw a movie more than once in the theater?
Avengers.
Same with me. Yeah, I saw Avengers 3 times, and I think Batman, the newest Batman, twice.
I've only seen one movie all fucking year, and I think it was Inside Out.
See, that's one of those I'll wait to download kind of things.
And I'm talking
think
the
a
first
movie.
Avengers, yeah.
I think the last time I paid to see a movie twice was The Amazing Spider-Man, and that's only because I went to see it in theaters opening night, and then I went on a date with, like, the drive-through movies, like, drive-in movies, not drive-through. It's like, I'll have that one movie, all right, here you go.
Very short movies.
And it was Ted and Amazing Spider-Man. So it was like, technically I went to pay to see it twice in theaters, but really, I was kind of spending, it was like $10 or something like that for the drive-in movie. It was called a drive-through again. So really, I guess you could kind of justify it and say, well, I paid to see Ted and got that too, but I think that's it. And that was mostly because I wanted to go in for that experience, not because I was like, I need to go see Amazing Spider-Man again, because that movie's flawed. But I don't remember the last one that I went to see. I actually paid twice, maybe Terminator 3? Because I watched that 3 times in theaters, and the second time, I didn't pay the third time. I got in for free. But I went to see it a second time because I was just like, you know what? This movie could not have been as bad as I think that it was. And it is.
Are you planning on seeing Star Wars multiple times? Depending on how it is? Or
yeah.
I would say no matter how good or bad it is, I'm going to see it at least 3 times.
Well, I saw episode 2 like 5 or 6 times in theaters because I kept getting these free movie tickets from boxes of cereal. Like, I went to go see it, and then that Movie Watcher program, it was like, oh, you got a free movie ticket. And I was just like, all right, well, I'll go see fucking episode 2 again. And then it was like, you know, I got a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, and there's a free movie ticket to Star Wars. Cool, I'll go see it. Oh, well, then I ate all that box of Cheerios, and now I got a thing of Lucky Charms, and it's a free movie ticket. All right, well, I'll go see Star Wars. Like, but I don't know. I'm certainly not going to go see it in IMAX all those times and spend like 30 fucking bucks a pop. We'll see. But, have you guys, I guess this is sort of the last topic that we can talk about when it comes to this part 1. Have you guys ever signed up for anything when you get like the student discounts or like the gold ticket things where you buy a movie ticket and you could use it at any time for any movie? Any of those kind of things that they've done in the past?
Never heard of it, but that's probably because I'm from a different country.
Well, I'm from this country and I'm not familiar with it either, but I do. When I was a student,
so it's just Tony then. Fuck Tony.
When I was a student, it was nice, saving a buck or two with student ID. But
what about you, Dace? You ever do any of those?
No.
That sounded sad.
No.
Yeah, I mean, unless you count Netflix, that to me is no.
So we're all agreeing that Tony's just lying and it never existed.
Yeah,
which is bad because I live like down the road from him. But I have a terrible memory, so this thing may be true. I have no idea.
He's just thinking Willy Wonka. He's got a golden ticket.
I've never bought a golden ticket thing or a silver ticket from AMC, but that's mostly because I'm just like, well, why do I need to buy a ticket ahead of time if I know that I'm going to go see a movie? I'll just buy it then. Like, I don't kind of see the point in that. But student discounts, I wish I could still get that shit. Kind of can't do that and just be like, here's my student ID from like 5 years ago or something.
I think one of our friends still gets it because he's a teacher at Rowan. I think he gets a discount.
I wonder if I can get a student or a teacher discount or something like that from my old student teaching days.
You might. He has a Rowan ID. It's the only thing that I know. He slips it everywhere we fucking go. It's kind of
We'll see about that. Leave your comments below, everybody. Tell us what you think about movie ticket prices, snack prices, all that kind of stuff that we went through here. Part 2, we're going to talk about different movie screen formats and stuff like that. If you are listening on iTunes or Stitcher, all you got to do is sit back, relax, and we'll be right back. And if you are on YouTube, then you got to just click on that next video, and we'll see you there.